Okay, folks, we are going to start our next topic here in biology, and it is going to be dealing with evolution. Okay, dealing with evolution. I don't know, is that coming on? Okay, so the board should be firing up. It's taking a little second here, but we just did the vocabulary over evolution. Go back that page. Who can tell me what is evolution? Okay. What did we say that evolution was? Brandon? A gradual change of species over time. Okay, a gradual change of a species over time. So, here comes the board. I don't know why it's getting so dim, but hopefully it comes brighter here. So, yeah. So, it is a change in a species over time. So, when we discuss this evolution, we're going to start talking about cells, okay? A cellular evolution, the very, very smallest part. So, as I click onto my next slide here, we're going to talk about the very first cells, okay? The very first cells. Now, these very first cells that we had were over 3.5 billion years old. So, the very first cells were found, it's estimated on Earth, obviously, we didn't have people around 3.5 billion years ago that were communicating this with us, but the first cells, okay, we're dating back, usually fossil records are giving us some sort of an idea of how this happened. So 3.5 billion years ago, the first cells. They were prokaryotic cells. They were prokaryotes. Now, we know about prokaryotes. Okay, what can you tell me about a prokaryote? We've discussed prokaryotes before. Fletcher? They do not have a nucleus. That was the big thing. That prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. Their genetic material is in a plastid, okay, a little circular material, but they do not have a true nucleus, and that's what a eukaryote literally means, true nucleus. So prokaryotes are predating the nucleus. They are before the nucleus. They did not use or require oxygen. So these first cells did not use or require oxygen. We call that anaerobic. Okay? They do not need oxygen. That is anaerobic. These first cells also did not undergo photosynthesis. So these first cells did not have oxygen. They did not undergo photosynthesis. They did neither of those two things. Okay. Now, on the changing, okay, all of a sudden now we have photosynthetic bacteria, and we call those cyanobacteria. I have a picture of the cyanobacteria right there, okay? Cyanobacteria is right here, two different pictures of it, okay? That was approximately 3.5 billion years old too. Okay, so after these non-photosynthesizing cells, we had prokaryotes. We still didn't have the nucleus. However, they did undergo photosynthesis. Okay, so they did undergo photosynthesis, these photosynthesizing prokaryotes. And they eventually, it is believed that they eventually produced what we now call the ozone layer. Okay? The ozone layer. Where have you folks heard about the ozone layer? Any idea? Have you heard about it? Okay? What do you know about the ozone layer? Okay? I saw Lewis. What's that? It's up, okay? It's believed, okay? They're tracing back and they're saying, have you ever heard of anything called global warming? Okay? Global warming, where they think it's getting warmer and warmer here on Earth. And some of the reasons that they think it's getting warmer and warmer here on Earth is because the ozone layer has been depleted. Okay? What could cause the depletion of the ozone layer? Okay? Some of the things they talked about is aerosol cans. Okay? Some of the stuff that are involved in aerosol cans goes up into the atmosphere and helps to deplete it. Okay? But these photosynthetic prokaryotes eventually produced the ozone layer, which is oxygen. Okay? The endosymbiont theory. Here is this young lady who is in charge. Margulis is the lady who came up with this endosymbiont theory. And what she said is that eukaryotes appeared about 1.8 billion years ago. She said that prokaryotes existed inside of other cells, and that is what gave rise to what we talk about nowadays as organelles. Okay? What are some organelles? Okay? The two main ones that we're going to talk about now are the chloroplasts and the mitochondria. Okay? Those are the two cells that we're going to talk most about here today. Okay? Because here's a diagram. And what it was believed is that here's the start off of this anaerobic bacteria. So these little pink things are anaerobic bacteria. And it is believed that this anaerobic bacteria started living inside of another cell. So they started living inside of another prokaryote. And eventually, what had happened was that they became mitochondria, right here. And then this cyanobacteria that we just talked about started living inside of another cell too, and that then gave rise to this plant cell, as you can see, that has mitochondria in it, and it also has chloroplast in it. Okay, it has mitochondria and it has chloroplast both inside of that type of a cell. Okay, so what is thought is that different prokaryotes started living inside of other prokaryotes. Now, what is some evidence that this has occurred? And these should be your bullets that you're coming in here. Okay, what is some evidence? Well, number one, that mitochondria and chloroplasts have their own DNA. That DNA is circular, like what we were talking about, the DNA of prokaryotes. Mitochondria and chloroplasts also have prokaryotic ribosomes. They also have prokaryotic ribosomes. And finally, mitochondria and chloroplasts will reproduce by fission, which is the same way that the prokaryotes reproduce. So, what it is believed that these 4 reasons here give us reason to believe that at one time that the chloroplast and the mitochondria were their own prokaryotes. Okay? And that those prokaryotes started living inside of another prokaryote. Okay? Now,